Hi, I'm Jeff from Better Living Outdoors, and today I want to give you a quick walkthrough on the installation of one of our wall heaters, but it's the either Wi-Fi controlled wall heater or the digital display controlled wall heater. So there's a little bit more complication with the wiring on these. So essentially the unit will be pre-fitted into the sauna by our install team. So typically we've already got it hung inside the sauna here on its frame. So you will need to disconnect it from the frame, but what you should also find is that your external temperature sensor will already be mounted within the sauna room, and also the digital control panel will be mounted in the room. So this bit really is more about how to do the wiring connection. So we're talking about a single phase connection as opposed to three phase. So points to note which aren't always clear. Within the bottom of the heater, you will need to basically set up for a single phase connection, and that involves these little bridges that go between the neutral and the live. So I've got an image of what you basically need to get the heater looking like. Those bridges that you can see in the diagram, they are normally all stacked on the neutral here out the box. So what you'll need to do is undo them and then basically set these out across the lives, and that way all three elements will then get power. If you don't do that, only one element's going to get power, and ultimately the heater's not going to do what you need, and it's a bit of a pain taking all the stones back out and flipping them upside down, etc. So trying to get it right at the start is the important bit. So you'll be wiring into the bottom of the heater H07 grade cable. We would advise you to be using a 6mm, and as you can see here, this is going through the underside of the heater, and it's fairly explanatory doing the connection up underneath. We've drilled a small discrete hole down here for the cable to go out of, and I've obviously chased that round the outside of the sauna neatly underneath. It's down to your discretion where you want to run that cable, how you want to do it, but that was my suggestion on this particular sauna install. With the temperature sensor cable, we've run this out the back here at the top, and then with regards to the control panel and lighting cable, they're coming out of a little hole down there. I don't think you can quite see it, but essentially they're coming out of a little hole down there, and we're bringing those into the side of this waterproof box here on the back. So first thing to note, the metal box that comes with the Xenio control system, it isn't waterproof. So if it's an indoor sauna, which obviously we've got a number of those in our range that this will work with, not a problem. You just need it in a dry, well ventilated area. But if it is going on the back of one of our outside saunas, you do want a good size IP66 rated box for it to go inside of, and that way it's going to be kept all dry and good when you're setting them up. So looking inside the heater itself, obviously we've got a input cable and an output cable. So the output cable is the big thick one that's on this side, that's running down to the heater itself. This is our input cable, which is running off to our rotary isolator switch that's close by. We've used 6mm with all of these, so that should be sufficient from the isolator, but you may need to be running a thicker grade from the house to the isolator switch. Again, your discretion, you're the expert on this, but 6mm is what you're going to need to be running around these sauna heater bits. 10mm just won't go into the receivers on here, so you've got to go with 6. So key points to note, and I'm going to glance down at the diagram now because that's going to help explain it a little bit more than looking at the back of there. For a single phase setup, we are using the L1 port on the control board, and then we're using the U connection to come back out, which is then going to go to L1 inside the heater. You're going to use this neutral port for the input of the power, and we're going to use this neutral port for the output of the power, and obviously your earth is going to go via the earth box inside here. So let's just glance back inside here again, and you'll see that that is the way we have this set up. Not the easiest to spot everything, I do appreciate. Other points to note, so we have got the cable from the digital control panel that needs to go into the left hand port here. It's not going to work in the right hand one, that's just for a diagnostics port, so please only use the left hand one. You've got the temperature sensor that needs to be connected into the top corner of this board here. There is a color sequence there which is on the instruction manual, so rather than me try and zoom in, I just say refer back to the manual there, but that's where those connect into. Then for the LED lighting, the transformer power supply basically needs to put into here. So you're going to use U2 for the live and then the second neutral for the neutral. And that then means that the switch that is inside the sauna will be able to turn that on and off. So hopefully that all makes sense. If you get a suitable size box, then you should find that you can squeeze your transformer inside your waterproof box once the reflective front cover is back on side there. Hopefully that helps. Any questions, do come back to us. I'm Jeff at Better Living Outdoors. Thanks for watching.